Friday of the 16th week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the book of Exodus. In those days, God delivered all these commandments. I, the Lord, am your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, that place of slavery. You shall not have other gods besides me. You shall not carve idols for yourselves in the shape of anything in the sky above, or on the earth below, or in the waters beneath the earth. You shall not bow down before them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, inflicting punishment for their fathers' wickedness on the children of those who hate me, down to the 3rd and 4th generation, but bestowing mercy down to the 1,000th generation on the children of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not leave unpunished him who takes his name in vain. Remember to keep holy the Sabbath day. 6 days you may labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. No work may be done then either by you or your son or daughter, or your male or female slave, or your beast, or by the alien who lives with you. In 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, but on the 7th day he rested. That is why the Lord has blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Honor your father and your mother, that you may have a long life in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male or female slave, nor his ox or ass, nor anything else that belongs to him. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, Lord, you have the words of everlasting life. The law of the Lord is perfect, refreshing the soul. The decree of the Lord is trustworthy, giving wisdom to the simple. Lord, you have the words of everlasting life. The precepts of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The command of the Lord is clear, enlightening the eye. Lord, you have the words of everlasting life. The fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever. The ordinances of the Lord are true, all of them just. Lord, you have the words of everlasting life. They are more precious than gold, than a heap of purest gold, sweeter also than syrup or honey from the comb. Lord, you have the words of everlasting life.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Hear the parable of the sower. The seed sown on the path is the one who hears the word of the kingdom without understanding it. And the evil one comes and steals away what was sown in his heart. The seed sown on rocky ground is the one who hears the word and receives it at once with joy. But he has no root and lasts only for a time. When some tribulation or persecution comes because of the word, he immediately falls away. The seed sown among thorns is the one who hears the word, but then worldly anxiety and the lure of riches choke the word, and it bears no fruit. But the seed sown on rich soil is the one who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and yields 100 or 60 or 30-fold. The Gospel of the Lord.
Friday of the 16th week in Ordinary Time. The first reading comes from Exodus 20, 1-17. Moses had gone up the mountain, and on the mountain he received what we call the 10 Commandments. Now remember, there's a lot more than 10 commandments in the Old Testament. The rabbis have counted 613 commandments. But these are the 10 Commandments which are the center of the faith of Israel. And they begin like any good covenant begins, with a remembrance of the history of the two parties. I, the Lord your God, brought you out of Egypt, out of slavery. And then the stipulations, what the Israelites are to do. They're to have no other gods besides him. Notice it doesn't say that no other gods exist. This is still henotheism. Henotheism, there are many gods, but I will worship this God. Monotheism, there is only one God. The Israelites really don't become monotheists till around the middle of the 9th century BC. This is taking place in the 12th, 13th century BC. They're to have no images of God because God is a jealous God. So no idols, nothing that will try to represent God in this world. They're to keep holy the name of the Lord. Remember, names are very important. God revealed his name to Moses, Yahweh. But to reveal one's name is to give someone almost a magical power over one. And therefore, you have to be careful how you use that name. They're to keep holy the Sabbath. And in fact, in this, the Jewish people say they're following God's own example. It's one of the holiest things you can do to keep holy the Sabbath. So you don't do work on that day. It's a day of rest. Rest, following God's example, rest because as humans, we need to slow down, or otherwise our work will take over. The first 3 of the commandments, at least in the Catholic counting of these commandments, remember the Protestants count them a little different. The first part of these commandments deals with our relationship with God. The last part, the last 7 commandments in Catholic counting, deals with our relationship with each other. Honor your father and mother, don't kill, don't commit adultery, don't steal, don't bear false witness, don't covet your neighbor's house or wife. Our faith has both a vertical dimension and a horizontal dimension. We can't say we love God if we don't love our sisters and brothers. But we can't say we love our sisters and brothers if we don't love God, because we'll never find the strength to love them if we don't have the grace of God. The Gospel is from Matthew 13, 18 to 23. And this is the explanation of this parable of the sower, that the seed that's sown on rocky ground is the one who hears the word of God, but has no roots. Remember, that's the explanation of what it means not to love God with your whole heart. The heart, according to the Jewish people, is where you think. So you don't love God with your understanding, with your thoughts, with your study. The seed that falls on rocky ground is the seed that doesn't take root, and when persecution comes along, it falls away. Remember, this is the explanation of what it means to love the Lord with your soul. Love the Lord until they tear the soul right out of her body in times of persecution. And the seed that falls among the thorns is a seed that gets caught up in worldly anxieties, lure of riches. Remember, it's not to love the Lord with your strength, your physical possessions. But the seed that falls on rich soil bears 30 and 60 and 100-fold. And if we prepare our hearts, if we root out all the vices, then when the Word of God comes along, we'll be ready to embrace it and to bear fruit. But that's a lifelong process because our human hearts, our human minds are complicated. There's levels of intention that we don't easily understand until we work at it for years and years. And may God bless us.